The UK doesn't always have a great record on big new infrastructure projects. Crossrail, the new east-west railway in London, being a particularly painful case in point. Well, now a British start-up that identifies potential bottlenecks in infrastructure upgrades has received investment from the venture capital arm of Alphabet, the company behind Google. Well, that startup is called nPlan, and its co-founder and chief executive, Dev Amratia, joins me now. Dev, morning to you. How did you get the idea for this business? What was the sort of genesis of it?
Morning, Ian. The genesis of the business came from the fact that I worked on these construction projects in my past career. I've been out there, I've seen how hard it is to get these things done on time. And I promise you, it's not the project team that's not trying. It's simply that they just don't have the tools and the information and the data available to be able to make informed decisions about, well, what risks lay in front of them ahead of time. And so you find that these projects are very frequently delayed. And so what better way to serve the rest of your career than to go solve a problem that, cripples the world that we live in?
Well, quite so. I mean, at the heart of what you do is AI. How do you actually help businesses reduce risks?
Yeah. So what nPlan does is we take data from past construction projects. We see what was planned to happen and then what actually happened. We've done that for over 500,000 projects that represents over $1 trillion in capital by now. It's the largest volume anywhere in the world. Using that data and that knowledge of what was planned and what actually happened, we can then help them spot patterns and say, here's how long we think the project might take, or what past data thinks your project might take, what opportunities there are, and then what risks there are. We can spot things like, maybe you haven't got enough cranes on your site. And the project team can then take action, right, before the risk materializes and before the delays and cost overruns begin.
Presumably this has all sorts of applications well beyond the construction sector, though.
For sure. I mean, making sure projects are done on time is a systemic issue. So using data on how past information is performed transcends many, many industries. At nPlan, we're already talking about the shipbuilding industry. We're talking about industries that quite simply leverage heavy amounts of capital, have enormous amounts of complexity to get their work done.
Now, obviously, it's very exciting that Google Ventures, GV, have come on board. You actually had some quite interesting backers even before then, the likes of Local Globe and Sir Ian Davis, the Rolls-Royce chairman. He was an early backer as well.
Yes, I feel incredibly fortunate to have excellent venture capital funds and angel investors. Yes, Sir Ian Davis is one of them, but he's joined by a number of prolific investors that have really supported us through the journey. Of note, Pentec Ventures based in Edinburgh, just as well as Local Globe based here in London, really helped the business from taking it from its very early days in 2018, which was frankly just a wild idea back then, into a real business that we now see today that makes meaningful impact to the projects that we work on.
And these are quite patient investors, Dev. You don't feel under pressure to sort of make a rush for profitability?
No. Our investors really do understand the bigger opportunity we're playing for here. To give you a tangible example, we've proven we can save a single project £30 million. If you think about how many projects there are going on, not just in the UK, but around the world, that's a meaningful number. So finding the way to scale the business, to make experiments, to take risks as a business ourselves, and to really go after the bigger prize to play for here. And for us, the bigger prize to play for is you forecast a project and you take risk together with the project. So what I'm talking about...
Okay, Dev, I'm so sorry. We're right at the end of the programme. Great to talk to you this morning. Best of luck. Thank you. That's it.